In this video, I'm going to show you how to create duplicates of your objects that are clones. And because they're clones, you'll be able to make changes to one, and those changes will be reflected in all of the duplicates. So to get started, I'm first of all going to select Step from the object properties and just draw in any kind of shape, and then we'll show how to make a duplicate of that shape. Okay, so here's my object, and when it's selected, before I duplicate it, I want to show you under the Layout drop-down menu. This is what we're talking about here. Add new objects as clones. So I go ahead and select that. And just to double check, I'll show you under the Layout drop-down menu. See how it puts a check mark beside there, so I know that this is turned on. Now, since that's turned on, I'm going to select my object and use the Transform tab. And what we'll do is we'll make a duplicate of it, and we'll just move it over. So I'm going to choose to move it over 100 millimeters along the x-axis, 25 millimeters on the y-axis, and I'll say Apply to Duplicate. See, so it's created a new copy of it, 100 millimeters over and 25 millimeters up. If I want to make another one and I want to make it the opposite direction, I'll put in a negative 100 millimeters, Apply to Duplicate, and so I get another one that's 100 millimeters to the left and 25 millimeters up. So now I've created 3 copies of the same object, and I can easily move them, but what makes them unique is that they're clones. Now, to demonstrate clones, I'm going to choose the Edit Nodes tool and click on the original and show that if I move a node in the original, that will also change in the clones. And so all of the objects reflect the exact same shape, and you can edit not just the original, but any of the clones can be modified as well. So the idea is once you've created a clone, changing any of the clones in the group will change all of the clones in that group. So that's how it works. Now perhaps a more practical demonstration could be, I'll do a satin, and I will create an ellipse and see if we can't turn that into, like a flower or a sun shape. So there's my original object, and I'm just going to select it. And just to be sure, I'll turn on the drop-down menu for Layout and make sure that I have New Object as Clone selected. And I'm just going to go to the Transform tab, and we'll move over to the Rotation option. And so what I'll do, I'm going to rotate this clone to create like a circle. And so I'll put in here 22.5 degrees clockwise. Now, if I say Apply to Duplicate, it's going to create a new shape or new object that's been rotated 22.5 degrees. But what I'd like to do is have them rotate around a different radius point. So I'm just going to actually delete that one. Select the first one again, and here is the center. That's where its rotation point is. And I'm going to move the rotation point to be down here, to be below the shape, so someplace like that. Now watch what happens when I apply the duplicate with 22.5 degrees clockwise around this rotation point. Okay, so now you can see how it's creating duplicates around a circle, and so I'll just keep clicking Apply to Duplicate and create as many sort of shapes as needed to create kind of a flower shape, really. So that's what I've created. Now, each of these are duplicates. So the idea is here, if I select any one of them and choose Reshape, I can change the shape, and it will affect all of the objects in the group. And so to make it a little more sun-like, I thought I would come to here and show if I there's a green node up here. There's my direction nodes are up here, the purple ones, and there's a red node. Now the red node's going to be square. I'll just pull in its tangent, make it be kind of pointy like this. Select the green node, and same thing, we'll just pull in its tangent. It gives it kind of a pointy tip to it, and therefore all of the ones. So that's the way you can use the clone tool to create a layout that has multiple shapes, and then edit all of the shapes at the same time to create I guess in this case, what looks like a bit of a sun. Now, the one thing you'll notice, they're all individual objects, and therefore there's some jumping in between. So just to sort of combine techniques, I'll select all of those objects and show that if I was to right-click, I could choose Join. And Join would, in general, it associates all of these objects together, and it tells the software to learn a common starting and ending point for each one, so there's no need for them to jump in between like that. And so you can see now I've cleaned it up. So that's the tool found under our drop-down menu called Add New Objects at Clones. And when you're done, and if you don't want any more clones, you can simply just uncheck it, and that will turn it off again.